This message comes from Progressive and its Name Your Price tool. Say how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show coverage options within your budget. Visit Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. This message comes from NPR sponsor Land's End Outfitters. Your brand is important, and they create apparel your team will want to wear. Go to business.landsend.com/pod20 and use code POD20 for 20% off your first product.
Hey there, it's Rachel, and today we've got something a little different for your ears.
Wow, that's a really deep question.
I'm really thrilled that you asked that.
Oh, that is such a hard question.
That's a hard one.
Yeah, you hear that? It's people out in the wilds of the world. Okay, they're just in Washington Square Park in New York, but that place can be wild. They were people I didn't know who agreed to sit down with me at my little table and microphone and share really personal things about how they see the world. Strangers who became way less strange after playing a couple rounds of our game. Usually for this show, I'm in our studio here in Washington, D.C., and the guests are people with some kind of public profile, and they're talking to me from wherever they are. But all of us here at Wildcard have wanted to take our show on the road, so to speak, to get out of the studio, get away from the famous people, no offense, famous people, and test our questions out in the real world. So yeah, Wildcard in the wild. It was a beautiful day in New York, tons of people out and about. I talked with more than a dozen of them over a couple of hours, and today we're sharing excerpts of a few of those conversations. Just a heads up, these are New Yorkers, right? So you're going to hear a little bit of salty language come up in some of these conversations. In this first segment, you'll hear from Sina, Diane, and Akira.
2. Yeah.
What's a place you consider sacred?
A place I consider sacred is, it doesn't necessarily exist for me anymore because my parents did have to give away my car, but it would be the car that I learned to drive in.
You tell what went down in the car to make it sacred.
Nothing out of the ordinary, just a lot of really happy memories. I think driving became an outlet for me, especially because I learned to drive during COVID. So that was kind of a time for a lot of people my age. We were bottled up in the house. We couldn't really leave. So when I was stressed about college apps, when I was stressed about school, life, whatever it might be, I would go in my car and I would just go on drives, long drives. Sometimes it was 2 a.m. drives, but it was what I needed. And it became a place where I just felt at home. I felt myself, and whenever my friends needed to go places or just vent, I was the first person to kind of drive over in my car, pick them up, and that became our spot for just sort of, being teenagers and hanging out. Yeah. So I miss my car a lot,
Cars
but
can definitely be sacred places.
yeah, even though it moves you from place to place, I consider it a place in and of itself.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Three? Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything in your life that feels like praying?
Yeah. When I stop my clock and reflect upon where I am in life, who I have in my life, who I've lost, and in particular in the past 6 weeks or so, I've been to several funerals of relatives or people close to us in our lives. That's a frequency that I haven't experienced before, and I sit there. They're all people who believed in God in a very certain way. I'm still on the wondering what, if anything, is out there list.
Yeah.
But when I think about these folks, I hope that whatever they thought was out there is out there for them. And I do hope that they can watch out for us and, make things happen the right way. And so there's something religious about that to me. And, whether there's a God out there or not, I feel like having hope and faith is something that I've come to feel comfortable with.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
3 cards. 1, 2, or 3.
Gonna go for that middle.
Oh, you're feeling the middle. Oh, you want to read this? You go. You read it. What you got?
What's a lesson you've had to learn over and over again?
What's a lesson you've had to learn over and over again, Akira?
A lesson I've had to learn over and over again. I would say that it's okay to... I have to do things despite me being scared.
Yeah. That's a big one.
I think, like, I've struggled with fear most of my life. Just growing up in a pretty chaotic environment. It was a good household, but, when you grow up around people who are very argumentative, it can be chaotic. Yeah, so just learning that even though I am afraid of certain things, like, I still have to get it done,
Yeah.
Facing my fear as far as performing. I'm a singer. Yes, I love singing. Facing my fear as far as showing up. Because I think, like, sometimes when I feel those emotions, it's hard for me to want to show up. Like, it's hard for me to want to, be around other people.
Like,
So-
literally, you don't want to leave your house.
Yeah, like, I isolate myself, I never had social anxiety, but, like, I don't know. As I've gotten older, it's kind of developed, and I'm just like, God,
I know.
where is this
I
coming
know.
from? Yeah,
And you do have to push through it.
yeah.
Because you know what happens when you put yourself out there?
What happens?
You meet a person,
Uh-huh.
and magical things can happen. You never know. It's true. But you do have to put yourself out there.
You do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Support for NPR comes from Google. This year, Google is celebrating the breakout searches of 2024 that captured the world's attention and shaped our year in ways we never saw coming. Watch the film at g.co/year-in-search. Google. Search on.
This message comes from GiveWell. You're a details person. You check at least half a dozen reviews before making any big-ticket purchase. So when you're giving to charity, check out GiveWell, an independent resource for rigorous, transparent research about great giving opportunities. Over 125,000 donors have used GiveWell. If you've never used GiveWell, you can have your donation matched up to $100 before the end of the year or as long as matching funds last. Go to givewell.org and pick podcast and enter NPR at checkout. This message comes from NPR sponsor Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. OCI is the platform for database, application development, and AI needs. Do more and spend less like Uber, 8x8, and Databricks Mosaic. Take a free test drive at oracle.com/NPR.
This message comes from Warby Parker. What makes a great pair of glasses? At Warby Parker, it's all the invisible extras without the extra cost, like free adjustments for life. Find your pair at warbyparker.com or visit one of their hundreds of stores around the country.
Okay, we're back, and in this section, you're going to hear from Stefano, Molly, and Sachi.
Okay.
Let's pick the middle one.
The middle one. You already know. 2. Okay. What do you admire about your teenage self?
That there was a sense of I didn't have to fit in. And also wanting more to understand what was going on rather than partake.
That's the opposite for a lot of people. People would say when you're a teenager, you desperately want to fit in. And you're telling me that when you were a teenager, you were not held captive by that. You felt freer.
No, but when I was about 7, I said, there's got to be more than this.
Really?
As I saw what was going on, what people were going through, I had no reference, but something And then I came out with a poem. Life is a strife, depending on one's latitude and attitude towards it.
I love that.
So I was always trying to, my mind was moving. Well, there wasn't too many emotions going on that were kind of nourishing, so the mind was on a higher pitch, kind of took over.
Where'd you grow up?
In Harlem.
Mm-hmm.
It's up on the west side, 125th Street in Morningside. I picked up a southern drawl, even though I'm Puerto Rican. It's that side of town.
Yeah. But I'm interested because you said that you felt that freedom to not have to fit in as a teenager, and that's something you admire about your teenage self. Does that mean you don't feel that now? You stopped?
Oh, I still no, no. You don't give that up. For what? No, and it makes things difficult sometimes to a degree because you're an outlier. You ever heard of Schopenhauer, the essays? So he writes this thing about society is like a warm, freezing night, and there's a can with wood burning in it, and it's warm. This is society. So you want to get just close enough to get the warmth, but if you get too close, everybody else pricks each other, like your porcupines will prick each other. See, it's like, and that's the way I was as a child, and now I'm realizing that it's suitable. It's suitable. Not to say there's anything wrong with everything, but I believe that if you really want to get to the awe of life, you got to go through the ouch. You got to go through that rough thing. You got to face yourself. You got to change, to grow, not be stuck. And for most people, they don't want to go through that, but they want to experience so they go find a group of people, and everybody placates each other, and this is what we all do. And it just, it's not appealing to me. I'd rather if you could find a group of individuals, I would love to join them.
That's a nice little caveat. I know. All right, so first questions. 3 cards, 1, 2, or 3.
Let's go with 3.
3. What's a lesson you've had to learn over and over again?
The same lesson.
Yeah. What's a lesson that keeps popping up? You think you figured it out, and then you do another thing, and you're like, oh, it's this thing again.
Lying about my age.
Oh, come on!
Yeah, no, it's been like a problem, a consistent. I've always lied about being older, though.
Oh, interesting.
For everything, like for work, for boys, and I've continuously not learned my lesson. Eventually, obviously, it will catch up because I will hit an age where I don't need to lie.
Need so much more from you now. Have you ever gotten yourself into some dicey situations because of lying about your age?
Almost. One time for work, my first job, I did outside sales, and I found out that I went to the same high school as this guy, and he was like, "What year did you graduate?" And I was like, and I just made up a year, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, I was like the year after you.
Yeah.
Like, do you know all these people?" And it was a job thing, it was a work situation, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't be lying about this kind of stuff.
But you look like a fully formed young adult at this point.
I am now, yeah.
Should I ask you how old you are?
Yeah,
How
I'm
old are
29.
You're 20.
Yeah.
Really?
Really? I know, stop. When you say that, I'm like,
Okay, you're 29.
embarrassed. And I don't do it anymore.
But what was at the root of it?
I wanted to be
thought
taken
things were
seriously. I always felt, especially as like a woman, right? There's that part of you that's a female where there's that dynamic in a workspace professionally. And then being young, I wanted to be taken seriously. I wanted people to trust me. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted these people to feel comfortable with me. And if I told them that I was 22 years old and I'm trying to sell them something or talk to them or have a professional relationship, that they wouldn't trust me because I was a child.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it came from, I think.
And have you figured out that you are, 29 is a good age.
20 is a great age. Like, I'm
girl.
and I'm happy to say it. It's the last in my 20s, so I'm happy to use this last
and
year.
you've lived some life. Like,
Yes.
you've had experiences.
Yes.
So you feel settled here?
I feel settled in 29.
Yeah.
I'm not lying about my age anymore.
Okay.
But it was a problem, so.
Take you at your word.
Yeah. Have you? Have
Lying
you?
about my age?
Yeah.
Well, I've definitely rounded
Okay.
before.
Up or down?
Right?
Yeah.
Um,
Both?
Well, let me tell you, Molly, as a woman who just turned 50,
Holy shit!
that's the answer I want. That's the response.
Holy shit! Wow.
You know, there are all kinds of stuff that comes with getting older.
Yeah.
And so there's a temptation to, to not say that quite out loud. And I think it's a real bad thing that women feel like you need to lie about
Definitely.
being older to get the authority and respect that you deserve. And then when you start to age, then you feel this pressure to fudge about your age going in the opposite way.
Yeah.
Because that only leaves a certain number of years where you're supposed to be perfect, the
Yeah.
perfect age, and that's sort of bullshit.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's a tricky situation of learning how to be comfortable and confident in yourself, that your age doesn't matter in
That's
the grand scheme.
That's right.
It's interesting to even hear that, just that it's going to be like maybe a thing that happens forever.
You're always working on it.
Yeah.
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 That was lovely.
Thanks.
Honey, it was so nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much. Yes, of course. Thank you. Thank you.
Everything.
Please don't judge me that I lie about my age.
No,
I'm
girlfriend.
Thank you.
Okay. 3 new cards. 1, 2, or 3?
2.
2. Okay. What's something you think of very differently than you did 10 years ago?
10 years ago. 10 years ago. So my son is now 22 years old. And 10 years ago, he was still 12 years old. And at that time, I wanted to make him a successful person in the world of economy, or
Like financially, you
Uh-huh.
wanted him to be successful.
like a good businessman,
Yep.
or like socially,
Yeah.
so money and fame and
Yeah.
connection,
Yeah.
such kind of things.
Yeah.
I prioritized when I raised him.
Yeah.
Like for example, my son went to a very good private school from elementary school, so he's got a good connection with important friends, like
Yeah.
their
Rich and famous
parents,
friends.
yeah.
With rich and famous parents. Yeah.
But so he is now a kind of person who lives in that kind of world, and then but he himself is happy.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if it is good for him now at the moment. Like maybe he wants to be an artist, or I'm not sure, and he's not sure. I think
Yeah.
because I raised him in the limited world.
And now you're thinking.
So yeah,
you
that's
want his world to be bigger. Yeah.
maybe yeah. So yeah, that's the difference.
This message comes from NPR sponsor Betterment. The emotional build of a will they won't they love story is never chill, but your investing portfolio should be. Betterment is the investing app that lets you be totally chill about your finances. Their automated technology and tax-smart tools are easy to set up, so you can focus on navigating any will they won't they love stories that come your way. Betterment. Be invested and totally chill. Learn more at betterment.com. Investing involves risk. Performance is not guaranteed. This message comes from Thuma. Thuma's furniture and home goods combine craftsmanship, simplicity, and functionality, bringing inspiration and purpose to every home. Explore Thuma's entire collection at thuma.co or the flagship location in New York City.
This message comes from NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud ERP, bringing accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR into one platform. Download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning for free at netsuite.com/story. Support for NPR and the following message come from Edward Jones. What is rich? Maybe it's less about reaching a magic number and more about discovering the magic in life. Edward Jones Financial Advisors are people you can count on for financial strategies that help support a life you love. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Okay, we're back with our last three wild card in the wild guests. Tayana, Alan, and Ashani. And by the way, we were working with a smaller deck than usual, so you're going to hear some repeat cards.
3 cards. 1, 2, or 3?
I'll do 3.
3.
Yes.
Is there anything in your life that feels like praying?
Feels like praying?
Yeah.
I think that when I'm being immersed in nature, that feels like praying to me, especially being in the ocean. So I'm from Hawaii. I was born and raised in Hawaii. I'm native Hawaiian. I grew up a few minutes from the beach, did water sports my entire life, canoe paddling, kayaking, swimming, surfing. So I'm very in touch with the ocean. Exactly. And I think when I'm in the ocean, that feels like I'm called to like a higher self. And you look down, it's deep blue. You can barely see land out. Yeah. It's really humbling.
Yeah.
And
humbling's a good word.
Yeah, it's humbling.
That's a word that helps define what praying can be.
Exactly. And I think it invokes a sense of awe and deep gratitude when you realize that maybe the thing that I'm worrying about is not as deep as I'm making it out to be. It really trivializes these small things that do seem worrying in the moment. And here, obviously, the Hudson River is very different, but I live right by the Hudson. I'm on West 54th and 11th, so when I need that moment of kind of stepping out of myself and from my worries, I'm like, body of water, get me there. Just, it's a
somehow
centering.
That water is still connected to the waters
exactly.
Off of a water.
Exactly. And that's the thing that, as a native Hawaiian who's grown up with that cultural upbringing, a lot of our ancestral wisdom shares that oceans don't separate us, they actually connect us. So,
where's your mom?
It's my mom.
Good job, Mom. Okay, you picked one.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything in your life that feels like praying?
Many things. Yeah. A couple of years ago, I was with a friend of mine, and I told her every morning when I wake up, I'm just grateful because I'm alive. Because every time I go to bed, I'm dead. And she was like, that's too much. But I still think you should be grateful every single day when you wake up and yeah.
Do you have a practice that's associated with that gratitude? Or do you just, when you wake up, you just say to yourself?
I'm Haitian, so I was born and raised partly in Haiti. So I saw, because in Haiti they have Catholicism and voodoo. So, which voodoo is not necessarily what the Western world think about. There's a bad part and a good part. And there's certain thing about voodoo, then I carry with me everywhere. Certain principle.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure. Yeah.
Let's
since we're talking.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. 1, 2, or 3?
Let's do 1.
1. Okay. What's a place that you consider sacred?
Ooh. I would say the piano. I'm a musician, and I feel like the piano and like spaces of music in general should be revered and held up as places of expression without censorship. And I think music has so much power to bring people together and spread messages in ways I think no other medium can. I think, music comes in where words fail. And yeah, I think the piano is probably my sacred place.
I imagine by extension playing the piano.
Playing the
feels
piano.
Like a sacred thing to you.
Yes, playing the piano and singing while I play the piano. I think there's no better feeling.
What do you like? What do you like to sing? What do you like to play? Like if you're having a bad day.
Yeah.
like escape into something?
Etta James. Etta James. I really love jazz and like 40s, 50s, 60s music. And I feel like those songs are almost a time capsule.
I know I'm going to ask you to sing Etta James.
Okay. Oh my gosh. I could sing At Last.
Yes.
Okay.
Do it.
At last, my love has come along. My lonely days are over, and life is like a song. Oh,
Thanks to everybody who showed up to talk with me that day in Washington Square Park. We hope to do it again somewhere else. Stay tuned for that. Until then, thanks so much for listening. This episode was produced by Ramel Wood with help from Sylvie Douglas and edited by Dave Blanchard. Special thanks to Lauren Gonzalez, June Jennings, Nikolai Hammer, and Searing Bista. It was mastered by Robert Rodriguez. Wildcard's executive producer is Beth Donovan. Our theme music is by Ramteen Arablui. You can reach out to us at wildcard@npr.org. We'll shuffle the deck and be back with more later this week. Talk to you then.
This message comes from Made in Cookware. Did you know that many popular dishes in Tom Colicchio's craft restaurant are made in Cookware? Made In supplies chefs with high-end cookware because Made In makes exactly what demanding chefs look for. When you level up your cooking, remember what great dishes on menus worldwide have in common. They're Made In. Save up to 30% from now until December 8th. Visit madeincookware.com. That's MADEIN cookware.com.
This message comes from NPR sponsor Betterment. The emotional build of a will they won't they love story is never chill, but your investing portfolio should be. Betterment is the investing app that lets you be totally chill about your finances. Their automated technology and tax-smart tools are easy to set up, so you can focus on navigating any will they won't they love stories that come your way. Betterment. Be invested and totally chill. Learn more at betterment.com. Investing involves risk. Performance is not guaranteed.